Hello everyone, welcome to Unicorn Light Tower. Sincerely hope everybody is doing amazingly well today. If this is your first time clicking on a video, welcome, and for those of you who are returning or all the new subscribers, welcome. Shout out to all the new subscribers. And today what we are doing is deep shadow work. We're going to be doing a deep shadow work reading. So much is going on in the cosmos right now. So much is going to be going on in October. So a lot of stuff is coming up for people right now. So we're going to get you some information about shadow work and specifically what negative trait is leaving your life. A lot of things are coming up to be finally released, so we'll get you some information in and around that and get you some support. And as always here on Unicorn Light Tarot, some practical help and support in that. So as always, we have 3 piles. Now we have something on each pile to differentiate between the piles, but I'm going to leave that completely and totally up to you, what it means and what it means to you. As always, these readings just resonate a lot more if you are really aligned with your own soul. So take as much time as you need to. If you need to go ahead and pause the video, the timestamps will be down below as always to come back into yourself. So let's just take a deep breath here and hold for a second and release, coming right back into your body, inhabiting the first, second, and third chakras, coming back into your heart space. So let's get this. For pile 1, we have the infinity symbol here again. I'm going to leave that completely up to you. If you resonate with that symbol at this time, that is your pile 1. Pile 2 is a beautiful heart 2, and that is your pile 2, and then the sun on pile 3. So take as much time as we said to let it all resonate and seep in. Figure out which pile is for you. And as always, these are general readings. If the first pile isn't quite resonating, feel free to pick another pile. Usually find in the second pile, especially if you're trying to choose between 2 piles and the first one isn't quite there, go in for the second pile. There's usually, if you're right in with your soul and you're here, chances are there are messages for you. So let's go ahead and move these aside for now. So if you chose pile 1 and you chose the infinity symbol, this is your reading here. And again, we are doing the deep shadow work reading and specifically what negative trait is leaving your life as we speak. All right, so a cycle is completing for you. Let's find out what it is. So we'll start off with these oracle cards, and you have beauty and you have oath. Okay, so a few different messages coming up for you in this reading, pile 1. The first message that's coming up, and while we're doing that, I want to go ahead and shuffle these too. So there is a renewed sense of self, and putting yourself first is the first thing that's coming up. Putting your energy first, but putting your truth first too. Now there's several different versions of this too, and so for several different actions that are going on with this too. Not only are you putting your truth first, but you are believing your truth, and you are learning how to trust yourself again. So the negative trait that is leaving is distrust of yourself, or not trusting fully in yourself. Now it's a very specific way that this works for you, because you do believe you're absolutely able to, and you have done before many times. You've really gone in and made decisions based on your heart. You're perfectly reasonable, understand all about that, and you're perfectly happy with the decision that you've made. And then after a while you start to doubt yourself, and we can give you the reason why, but this is the cycle that's leaving for you permanently right now. Learning to trust yourself at all levels, not just after you've made the decision. So the thing is everybody has their own reality. So in many ways there is a universal truth that sort of goes within, but that universal truth does exist and allow for other realities, right? So there are so many different realities, and once you're plugged into that reality, you will find other sources of information to back up that reality because you're already clicked into it, right? Now, that reality is yours. You claim it. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's not definitive for everybody. That is your reality. So what's happening in the world now is there's this definite, you're right, I'm wrong, this, that, and the other. And that's not actually true at all. Whatever's right for you may not be right for somebody else. And again, there's no defining elements, because if you believe in one reality, you will attract information and evidence that will, without a doubt, support that. And that will happen on all sides, right? So what happens for you is you do check in with your heart. Without a shadow of a doubt, you check in with your heart. You make this decision based on you, where you are. And a lot of you are clear channels, so you really do make the decision based on the information that the universe is setting forward, not information that's out there that's been clouded, or that you're coming in from, you're making a decision from fear. You generally don't do that. You have done that in the past, but you don't do that anymore. So you believe that, and then what happens is you click into everybody else's realities because you're so open to everybody having their own opinion, and you respect that, which is an absolutely wonderful trait. This is not going to change within you, and nor should it, because you allow for everybody to have their own reality, and they do. And no set reality for someone is better than anybody else's reality. Everybody's coming from a different set of circumstances. They have their own agenda. They have their own blueprint. They have their own way of moving through ascension symptoms, or ascension in some ways. And the decisions that they make will be in line with what it is that they're here to do. And we don't have any authority over that, and nor should we have an opinion over that. So that's absolutely wonderful. But what happens is that you lose faith in yourself. You want to, did I make the right decision? I'm not sure, because you get pulled in to other people's versions of reality. And even though you don't necessarily agree with those realities, you're so open to the fact that anything can happen, that anything is possible, and all of this is wonderful, and you're not going to change this, and we don't want you to change it, but it does confuse your original decision, and it causes a little bit of doubt, and it causes some doubt and maybe even a little bit of fear to seep in, and that has caused a little bit of tension in your life, because it seeps into different areas of your life. Now, again, we want you to stay in that openness, and you're not going to change that, but we want you to remember and come back to a sense of self. When you have made these decisions for yourself, you've made them out of love and not fear. That never changes. That decision will always be right for you, and the decisions that are around other people that they're making based on their reality are right for them, and they should be respected too. There's no definitive right or wrong. Again, even if somebody comes up with evidence, it really doesn't matter. Everything will be backed up based on the reality that you have brought in to your own scope of vision, because you will attract everything that will set you up in that reality, that will prove one way that it's right or wrong. So it's just a matter of fixating on a reality based on what it is that you believe and where you are at that time. So there's no definitive right or wrong. I want to remind you here that we're all sovereign beings, so there's no right or wrong. Whatever you choose will be right for you, no matter what. It's absolutely okay. This you know. But we want to remind you, because this has been something that's been happening, that all the decisions that you've been making, especially recently, are in line with exactly where you are, and there's a reason for them. And again, to reiterate, we love the fact that you are allowing in all of this other stuff, everybody else's realities, because that's exactly where we should be. But the darkness does seep in, because as these other realities come in, you start to question your original thought, and your original decision, which was always right for you. So the negativity here is not that you don't necessarily trust yourself. As we said at the beginning, we're going to correct that. It's more that after you've made the decision that you're locked into it, but when we say locked into it, being flexible, you are flexible, but being locked into that decision and standing by it and understanding that it's right for you. So what's happening is that you're leaking out energy and you're not as grounded as you could be. So when all these other realities come in, it all makes sense to you. And that's absolutely wonderful, because it makes sense to the person presenting it to you, because that's their reality. And what you do is you allow yourself to be completely immersed in other people's realities all the time, which is wonderful in many ways. It makes you a beautiful creative person. It makes you an excellent storyteller. But when it comes to being grounded into your own reality and knowing what you want, that can be difficult for you. So this is a cycle that's leaving, but we're going to tell you where it originated from, because if that can be unleashed or understood, that's 99% of what's going on. So coming back into a sense of self here. So for some of you, Real Talk Pile 1, there's a lack of a sense of identity. Now, there's a lot of talk in spirituality, which is absolutely wonderful. And we've talked about this before, where, when you're ascended and people talk about being in 5D, you no longer have a personality, you no longer have this. Now, this is natural ascension when you move into this. And when you do move into it, that's a natural cycle. But at the same time, we do have our own uniqueness here on Earth, and nobody's above or below anybody else. We're uncomparable. We cannot compare each other and each other's souls. We just cannot. We're just unique, and we're all completely different, but all connected and have our own version of realities, absolutely. But we have our own missions here on Earth, especially if you're a starseed, which you are. So that said, it is really, really important for us to understand that, allowing in all of this energy is one thing, but one needs to be grounded in their own reality first. And one has to have a complete sense of self first before they lend their energy out. And this is something that's beautiful, because there's a naivety that's going on here, because the inner child wants to be completely integrated. Once the inner child is completely integrated, then a lot of this will come to fruition. You'll be able to really be firmly in your body. And you've been working on inner child stuff, but this is also something that's coming up for you, because the inner child is very, very naive. And when you bring in everybody else's version of reality, the inner child goes, oh, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes, and it does make sense. It makes sense to the other person. That's absolutely wonderful. And it's good to be able to take that on and be able to see things from every other point of view. But the whole point here in this lifetime, particularly now, is to be discerning. Not all information out there is even based in truth. Some of it has a nugget of truth, and that has been amplified in a certain way, but it's been amplified in a way to get people's attention. It's been amplified in a way to amp things up so everything can get out there, so we can deal with it and we can see it. So there's nothing wrong with the amplification, and there's really nothing wrong with some of the miscommunication or the information that's out there. It's okay for it to be out there, but it's important for you to be discerning about it. That's all, because some of it's based in fear, some of it's, based in miscommunication or misinformation. And again, nothing about that is wrong, because all of this stuff needs to come out for us to be able to see it. So, but it's really about being discerning. So coming back into yourself here, we have the offering, we have the mystic, and we have the temple. So here we have these beautiful things. So this is you coming back to you, having a really firm grasp of who you are, being discerning, yet being open. And this imagination that you have is absolutely incredible. And you came into this lifetime to have this imagination to be able to help others. The creativity, the way in which you spin and weave worlds, and you're able to articulate yourself in this lifetime is absolutely gorgeous, right? So this is a wonderful trait to have. It just needs to be grounded a little bit more. So this is a cycle that's leaving. So the one thing that we can suggest that you do is come back to your mystical side, come back to your knowing of who you are. And we're going to say something that may seem a little bit strange and a little counterproductive, but we just want you to sit with the information and see what resonates with you. So in this lifetime, and many lifetimes before, you had a very grounded existence, right? In this lifetime, you've come here to have a very, come here to be grounded. Everybody needs to be grounded, especially when they do spiritual work. But you've come here to have an earthly experience, but you've come here to actually work in other realms. You may have worked in other realms in previous lifetime, but you kept that a secret. This is something that you will be doing in this lifetime. So you're mystics, you're alchemists. So a lot of the information that you get and a lot of the information that you trust will actually not be from this realm. It will not be from the 3D realm. So here's the thing for you, and again, this may sound a little counterproductive, but bear with us for a second. As you look into all of the information that's out there to make a decision, which you often do, it may not be great for, it's great for you to take note of all the information that's out there and do the research. A lot of you like to do that. I personally love to do that too. Delve deep if you need to. But a lot of the information that's out there, the way in which you will make your decisions in this lifetime will not be from the practical mind. It will be from your heart center. And once that heart center has told you what needs to be done and what action needs to be taken, absolutely and completely trust it. In fact, if you rely on your practical mind, and we're talking about your ego mind here, your mind that's trying to put everything together and make sense of it, nothing intrinsically wrong with that. We need our practical mind. We need the divine feminine, the divine masculine to come in equal balance. But if you rely on your actual mind, your ego mind that's trying to put all this information together, you're going to be very, very confused and not as discerning as the information that's coming in. So the way in which we suggest that you do this to get out of this cycle is to take in all the information, do all the research that you need to do, right? All the research that you need to do from all angles. And when you feel as though you've got everything, all the information that you need, go into source, work with source, work in your realm, work in your heart center, and ask, and be discerning about that, but listen to what they tell you to. So that's really important to come back to your mystic side. What's happening is that you are making your decisions based on that. And then afterwards, you're letting in all this other information that's coming in that isn't discerning necessarily, but deserves for other people to be listened to and to be honored. But it doesn't need to come into your space anymore. And then your practical mind is going, yeah, but. And your practical mind will always do that because they're trying to make sense of everything. Now, your practical mind could also be here, your inner child that's trying to protect you and also be discerning in their own way by saying, all right, but this doesn't work because X, Y, and Z, and this doesn't work because this didn't work before. So your discerning mind or your practical mind is also basing all of the information on what has happened to you before and how you believe the world works. So it's outmoded at best, and a lot of people are making decisions based on that, and that's completely up to them. It's not going to work for you in this lifetime. So we're not telling you in any way, shape, or form not to be practical. Your practicality is absolutely there. We're telling you to be discerning and to make your decisions absolutely based on the heart center. And the way in which you articulate your feelings and the way in which you actually get your information, that you finally make your decision from might be from other realms, might be from source, might be from your guides. But those guides are going to lead you in the right direction. And also that's how you're going to learn to trust yourself one way or another moving forward and learn to be discerning, because this is a lifetime for you to come back into your own power. But your power comes from your spirituality. Your power comes from, for some of you, your witchcraft, your divine feminine, from your magic, from your mystical side, from the knowledge, from ancient wisdom that you have. And a lot of you have sort of shamanistic tendencies too, and making decisions based on the practical is not going to work for you in this lifetime. It may have worked in the past to a certain degree, but it's the heart center, coming into a heart-centered space. So you are making decisions without a shadow of a doubt from your heart center. It's just a matter of trusting them afterwards and letting in this information. So Let's retrace here. Bringing in and integrating your inner child that's also working with the ego by trying to protect you by saying, yeah, but they've got a point, they've got a point. Everybody's got a point. Again, you can see things from multiple personalities, which is one of the things that you can do in this lifetime, which is absolutely wonderful. Not only would you be a wonderful counselor, but you'll be a wonderful storyteller. Because your imagination knows no bounds. But it needs to be reined in and be discerning when you're out there and you've already made your decision. Learning to trust yourself after you've made the decision. Learning to live from your heart center. Using your practicality and integrating that in a very practical way. You are already practical. You don't need to worry about that. But and also there's a part of you that always wants to see things from every single point of view in every single side, because you want to see if anything's coming. You're always, in the past, you were waiting for the other shoe to drop. So if you could cover your bases by seeing things from every different point of view, then you could protect yourself. This is leaving. This understanding of self is leaving. This is what the practical mind is still trying to do. And this is what your inner child, for some of you, this is a general reading, for some of you that hasn't fully integrated yet, is still trying to do. Now, we want to remind you that your practical mind, your ego, and your inner child are trying to protect you. They're not evil. They're wonderful. They're trying to protect you. And they're doing it based on what has been before. But you've already grown out of that. So when your practical mind comes in, and for sake of clarity, when your ego comes in, when your inner child comes in and says, yeah, but what if, and this happened before, just say, trust me, we cannot keep going over this. We cannot keep going over this. You have no physical proof that this will happen. You have no physical proof, and they cannot provide physical proof for it. What they will do is say, but it's happened before and it's happened like this. That happened like that. That's in the past. It doesn't mean it will happen again. So the way in which you can speak to your practical mind, you can speak to your ego, you can speak to your inner child and say, we are no longer basing any of this off our past. We are now moving into our future. Do some exercises too to bring in your inner child and integrate them fully. Anything that you can do to have, now when we say an offering here, anything that you can do to bring, now it doesn't have to be a ritual, but bring yourself back into the magic of who you are. Bring magic back into your daily routine. Bring the mystical back into your daily routine so it becomes natural for you. So when you're living like this naturally and completely, when you make decisions like this, it doesn't seem weird that you're doing things differently than your friends, or you're doing things differently than the rest of the world, right? If you're living like this anyway. Right now, a lot of you are bringing ritual back into your life. You're living that magical life. You want to live that magical life. You're stepping up. You know that you're a mystic. Obviously, everybody's busy these days. They're doing whatever they can. You don't have to devote yourself to any of this, but really, really small practices that you can bring in every day to connect yourself back into your magic permanently. So it becomes a way of life, and it doesn't seem strange to you that you are living from your heart center. That's one way that you can do. Bring yourself back into your magic on a day-to-day basis. Now, it will look very different to each and every one of you, for sure, because this is a general reading. So let's get you some more information here. So some great stuff coming up for you. And we want to remind you that this is leaving. So you are moving into the steady purpose of being you. That heart-centered self that honestly creates this beautiful magic. And your heart-centered self never steers you wrong. It really doesn't. But it may not make a lot of sense to the rest of the world right now. And if you're trying to see yourself how the other half lives, how the rest of the world will see you, you may think, all right, this is a little bit batty. Maybe we need to be a little bit more practical. Don't do that. Don't do that. The way in which you are working is absolutely perfect. Trust yourself. You've absolutely got this. And you've been doing all of this healing up until this point for you to trust yourself. This is the last piece of the puzzle for you to do this. You've got the Two of Staves here coming in under the offering. You have the Empress coming in here under the Mystic. Hello, wonderful. And then you have the Four of Cups here under the Temple. So yeah, this is all about you figuring out how to live with discernment, how to trust yourself fully on a day-to-day measure. Again, you don't have to worry about how you feel about other people. The acceptance is there. It's absolutely wonderful. But some of you get a little bit judgmental, I can't believe people are doing this, that, and the other. And the reason why is because you're not really trusting yourself. You actually do, when you come into your heart center, you actually do truly believe that everybody has their own version of reality and everybody's doing whatever they can to honor that version of reality, and they have the right to do that. You have no problems with that. When the judgmental stuff comes in, it's because you're judging yourself. You're a little bit unclear on what you've been doing. So get clear with yourself. With that judgmental thing is a little click into reality. It just reminds you that, all right, if I'm being judgmental to the external, I'm being judgmental on myself. I need to come back to center. I need to trust what I've done. I need to trust who I am. Your guides are absolutely wonderful. They're very powerful. They've been working with you, not even from this lifetime, for many, many different lifetimes. And I know in society, even in the spiritual world, one way or another, it is a little bit strange. It can seem a little bit strange, and for you, not exactly the black sheep of the family, but you've always done things a little bit differently. You've always been a trailblazer, and you've been okay with that to a certain degree, but of course you're here for connection too. So there's a large part of you that's realized how different you are and how unique you are. And again, it's not better or worse than anyone else, but how unique you are. You've come into that uniqueness, and that's provided a little bit of separation between you and other people's reality. So sometimes you do wonder about that, but you need to claim it. The more you claim it, the more you come into your power, especially for that divine feminine power, coming truly into that power, the more you're going to be grounded into that energy, the more you're going to trust after the fact when you have made your decisions, and the more you will be discerning when other people come in with their realities. And ironically, the more you will be open to people's other realities also, because you'll be able to be more discerning and say, that's great for you, I totally honor you, and be able to walk away from all of it if you need to. And from that, you will be able to connect to yourself. From that, you will be able to find your community here and not feel so alone. You are not the only person that's living this magical life and working from this too. And actually finding this dichotomy between the 3D world where, we're not really trained to be vulnerable. We're not really trained to be emotional. We're not really trained to work with guides or be woo-woo, right? Even in spirituality, there's a woo-woo side to it too, which absolutely does exist. But for you, you are discerning when you are quote unquote woo-woo, which you're not woo-woo at all. When you work in that realm, when you work like that, you're actually far more grounded and far more together than when you're not. So claiming this right now is the last piece of it, bringing it all together. So let's get you a little bit more information here. But you are on the right track. So all of this stuff can be coming up for you. It'll come in with a little bit of self-doubt, maybe a little bit of judgment from the external world. That, again, is just a reminder that you're judging yourself. A little bit of boundaries, energy work for you, where somebody else begins and you and somebody ends, bringing in other people's energy, again with discernment. But it comes back to trust too, and this comes back to childhood stuff too, being in survival. Not being in a position necessarily to trust yourself because your survival needs were trying to be met on the external, and people around you may not have put your needs first. So it's totally understandable that this would be coming up for you. So there's safety issues coming up for you too. Grounding into that, trusting yourself, trusting the universe, trusting your path, trusting your gifts, which we can tell you are absolutely beautiful in this lifetime. And as powerful as you are, this is honestly just the beginning. Power 1. Honestly assess is your thing here. And be authentic, absolutely. So coming back into yourself to be authentic, we'll be going into these cards a little bit more, and feel. So coming back into yourself, your beautiful vulnerability, your emotionality, everything that you stand for, claiming all of that coming in from your past, coming in from your childhood, anything that's coming up for you that you were not really allowed to express, allow it to express now. That's going to help you with your ego mind. That's going to help you with your inner child to heal and integrate fully, and help you in the short term and the long term to be able to ground into your own energy and trust who you are. Coming back into your energy of being authentic. Your authenticity will look different in this lifetime to other people's authenticity, and that's okay. If other people think you're batshit, that's fine. There's a whole community out there right now, Pile 1, that also are going to be in and around you, and you're not going to think each other are batshit, and you're going to be very, very powerful alchemists coming in. That's fine. You're not here to be liked by everybody. You're here to be a trailblazer. In many ways, you could be triggering to some people, but that's fine. That's why you need to come back into yourself. That's why you need to come back into your body and into your grounding, so none of this deters you in any way from the path and your blueprint moving forward. Because let me tell you, even though this is a timeless reading, there are big things coming up for you, especially in the month of October. All this stuff is coming up for you to integrate so you can move into these great opportunities. So honestly assess exactly what's going on. Now, we always say, no matter what we say to you, no matter what anybody else says to you, always listen to your intuition and see where it lies with you there. Everything that resonates with you resonates for a reason. If it doesn't resonate, it isn't for you. That's not the information. Be discerning at every point, including whatever we've told you. Everything, be discerning. Always come back to self. It will always tell you what is right for you. And that's how you learn to trust yourself. So you're moving out of the cycle and really solidifying your mystic side, your beauty, and your trust in yourself and your life and your path and the universe, which of course is all one and the same. So let's get you one more here, thinking about making magic here. One more to solidify. But this is wonderful. You've been doing all of this work already, all of this deep shadow work. This is just the last part coming in. Now, it might be a little concerning for some of you, or disconcerting, however you see it, with all this energy coming up. We want to remind you that this is not about, as we say on this channel, not about going down the deep rabbit hole. This stuff is coming up for a reason, to be faced, certainly. And there's a methodical way to move through it. That's where your practical mind works, working in unison again with the divine feminine and your beautiful intuition and your heart-centered space. But this is not for you to go off for 6 months to be able to do this, or take a course, or read 1,000 books. You've got all the information there. It's just clarifying it and making it succinct, bringing it in and making it work. That's all it is. So we have here abracadabra with wings, fantastic good fortune and lucky chances. This is it coming in for you. These opportunities are coming in, as we've already said. This is just coming up for you to solidify before. So you have this really beautiful firm foundation. A lot of people want what they want, and there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want, even before, you're able to handle it, fake it till you make it, and all of that. Everybody has a different version of this, but if you don't have a firm foundation, you can feel very overwhelmed when all of these opportunities and these things come in. So the stuff is coming up for you to sort out now. You've already done the work. It's just about being discerning, and this is a time for you to bring back your power and to really base it in your mysticism and really own how you do things. Own how you do things. Yes, it's a little bit different. Yes, it may not work for everybody, but it works for you. This is not your first rodeo. You've been doing this in past lifetimes. It works for you, and you know what you're doing. When you try to do all the practical stuff, to a certain degree, it might fall short. And again, we're not asking you to throw out your practicality, not at all. Always be discerning. But the practicality, when fused with the ego, may not lead you to where you need to be. It's your heart-centered intuition that's going to lead you to where you need to be. And where you're going is very, very bright. So allow all this to come in. Allow all this to solidify as you move forward. You've absolutely got this, Paul 1. All right, my darlings, that's what we have for you. We were sending you so much love and support for exactly who you are and where you are in the world right now. You stay safe and sane. And until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye. Lovely pile twos. If you chose the heart chakra or the heart emblem here, this is your reading. Again, we are doing deep shadow work reading, and specifically what negative trait is leaving your life. We'll give you some insights and support about not only what's leaving your life, but why it happened, and whatever we can give you. Whatever information we can give you, we're going to get for you today from your guides. So let's go right into your reading. We're going to start off with these oracles. So you have strength and wishing. So let me sit with this for a second. Strength and wishing. So one of the things that's coming up, and as I'm doing this, as I did with pile one, I want to go ahead and start shuffling these because this is going to help us move forward too with this reading. So one of the main things is that's coming up for you, pile two, very strongly, is staying in the present moment. Definitely staying in the present moment and trusting the present moment, bringing your power back into the present moment, because that's where you are creating as you move forward. And also there's a large portion of you that is learning how to believe, not just believe in yourself, but there's a few different things going on. You have big dreams and you are able to, you're absolutely able to achieve them. And in fact, it's in your blueprint, so you will achieve them in this lifetime. Now, you don't necessarily in any way, shape or form believe that you don't have the strength to be able to get there, or the flexibility. In fact, everything that you've been through with your experience suggests that you have the strength. You certainly have the courage. That's not it. But there's something underlining that keeps coming up that is leaving, which is wonderful. That keeps coming up where you doubt that it will come to fruition. So there's a little aspect of you that still doesn't quite believe that you deserve it. Just a little inkling of you. Now, the reason why it's been successful in some ways in holding you back, but at the same time isn't a big deal, because this is not something that you intrinsically believe. This is an external situation that's happened to you. And it's just really a matter of taking it and saying, this is not mine, and taking back your energy and putting it back. So let's get clearer about this. So this is an inherited pattern that's come in for a lot of you. And these, of course, are general readings. But a lot of you's come in from your bloodline, your ancestry. But at the same time, you've done a lot of work in healing that. So nobody necessarily believes that anymore. But there may have been very limited perceptions about what it is that you could achieve in this lifetime, or being realistic. You didn't come here to be realistic. You came here to have it all. You came here to learn how to do what you're going to do and have this magical life. You came here to be successful. And there's a lot of heavy karma that you had to go through, so it didn't necessarily happen as quickly as other people have found success. But your success is very specific to you. You had to work through a lot of that karma, you had to work through a lot of that old energy, and a lot of soul contracts you had to work through too. Now, all of those soul contracts, all of that karma actually equipped you with the experiences to grow this strength and to grow this courage that you have in this lifetime. Now, you innately have that. However, and this is what I'm picking up on, and it's just a little bit of real talk. If this part resonates with you, then it does. If this part doesn't, maybe it's not for you. But in this lifetime, there's a part of you that's a little bit lazy sometimes. You can get a little bit like, when you're in action mode, you're in action mode. It's not like you're inactive all the time. But sometimes you can get a little bit resting on your laurels. You get a little bit lazy. And this comes from past lives. In some of your past lives, you've been quite affluent. So you didn't have to work that much in order to gain what it is that you needed to gain. It was sort of given to you naturally. In this lifetime, you didn't come here to do that. You actually started, for most of you, from meager circumstances. And you chose this for yourself. Now, some of you have come from really interesting situations, and you would be saying, why would I choose this for yourself? Totally understand that without a shadow of a doubt. But really, at the end of the day, you did, because it's a motivator for you. to move forward and to gain that access to the courage to move forward and all of the strength that you had, because the courage and the strength is about putting yourself out there and trying things on and failing and moving forward and doing all of this. And this is something that you didn't necessarily have access to in all of your previous lives. So it made you rest on your laurels just a little bit. Now there's an inkling of that in you sometimes, where you'll do something and it doesn't necessarily come to fruition, or you'll start something, you don't always finish it. That's fine. It's not inherently lazy necessarily at all, but it's all part and parcel of losing a little bit of interest, because you could lose interest before and just move on to something else and there were no repercussions or anything like that. Now in this lifetime, the things that you've left behind, or the things that didn't really work out, they weren't really meant for you. That's fine. But there's an activating that part of you that's lazy, and we're going to say lazy because it's not lazy. It's not lazy. What it is, it's the, for want of a better word, laziness coming into motivating you to move you forward, right? But there's a part of you that sometimes that you get lost in there, where you start something and you believe it and you believe it and you know that you're talented, and and none of that is you second guess, but actually bringing in all of this success, there is an inkling of you that doesn't necessarily, that worries that you deserve it one way or another. And that kind of gets linked in sometimes with this inactiveness that can be linked to past lives that was, you didn't have to work for it. So when that inactiveness comes in, sometimes you give up these projects, or what's the point, or you can feel a little bit sorry for yourself, but that's just because of the past life stuff. Here's the thing, in this lifetime, the success is there, and you've had these meager circumstances in order for you to build this courage and to build this strength in a different way that you haven't had before. These are just experiences that you haven't had in past lives. So this is why you come into meager circumstances in this lifetime. However, there's an aspect of you that's, kind of a king, kind of a queen. You like your nice stuff. You like the fine things. There's an aspect of you that's really fine-tuned. Definitely like the finer things in life, moving forward. There's a regal aspect to you that other people may have picked up on, and in fact that's from past lives. You probably did have that regal life. You definitely had the good life in past lifetimes, and that's come in. Now you're not looking down on anyone or anything like that, but when you've come in this lifetime, it was important for you to start off where everybody else did, for you to be able to see everybody and be able to see the beauty in absolutely everybody in a way that you didn't and weren't able to do in previous lifetimes, just because of the way that you were born. So this was really, really important. But the missing piece of this puzzle here is this inactiveness that comes in sometimes, that when you doubt yourself, that you're doubting, will I be able to do that? Will this really come into fruition for you? And even though we want to be really clear, you're never really frightened that you're not talented enough, or that you don't have enough drive, or all these experiences, everything you've done is giving you the courage, giving you the strength. It's not that you don't think that you can overcome it, nothing like that. It's just about the deserving part. And then it clicks in with this inactivity that comes in from past lives, and then you go, woe is me, maybe it's not worth it, this, that, and the other. So this is a pattern that you are absolutely leaving behind. And here's the thing, the pattern comes from your bloodline. The actual bloodline that you were born into, where the meager circumstances, out of protection, you were told that, maybe you shouldn't reach so far or so high, or be practical about what you wanted to do, or maybe you should do something more practical, or if this doesn't work out, have a backup, or or maybe it could be from the simple fact that when you were a child, you weren't seen for who you are. You were seen for what you could do or what you stood for in the family unit, but you weren't seen for that individuality. You weren't seen for your beauty, for your talent, for what you could bring. So when your talents came forward, they weren't really seen and acknowledged. So, when you're trying to put those forward into the world and integrate them into the world, of course you're going to feel as though, you don't believe in yourself enough, because we do need validation. It's good to have validation, especially when you're young, right? If you didn't get that validation initially, of course you're going to doubt yourself now. But again, there's a reason for it, and it's not a big deal. You've already healed the bloodline. You've already worked on that. So this is just sort of repercussions of that coming in. So let's go ahead and give you some more information about how you can release those once and for all, because big stuff is coming in for you. We want you to be ready for it. So let's see what we have for you. The Sustainer, the Offering that came up in pile 1, and the Bridge. Love this. Okay, so as we always say, always listen to your heart, always feel what resonates with you with absolutely everything, and especially with this. With any reading, with anything that anybody ever tells you. So this is a suggestion that's coming up for your guides, whether you decide to do it or not, or take it as a whim and then go with it and make it your own. It's completely up to you. But there's an essence of speaking to your bloodline and releasing it. So this is something that you could do should you choose to take this on and make it your own. So acknowledging that this happened in your bloodline, acknowledging that, you know, the bloodline has been healed, making an offering to your ancestors. Here I am, I'm doing this. Now remember, you're not just an offering to your ancestors, you're an amalgam of your ancestors and your bloodline. In many different lifetimes, you've come in with the same people, right? You know, they didn't have the same relationship with you, but you've come in with the same people. With some of the complicated relationships for some of you, you had at the beginning of your life, there were things that, you know, still needed to be done and worked through in this lifetime. But you've come in with the same people. It's the same bloodline from your ancestors. When you offer them who you are, you're saying, I'm healed. I've healed this bloodline. I am offering who I am right now as an amalgam of all of you. I want to move forward with success. Now, you're not exactly asking for permission, but you're offering yourself in a very specific way out of the healed bloodline for you to build that bridge, for you to move forward and say, I want your blessing to be able to do this. And this is something that you might, if you feel like this is something that you want to do, to work with your ancestors to seal all of that beautiful blessings that you've done, all of that beautiful work that you've done, that healing that you've done in your bloodline, because this goes way back to this feeling of feeling inadequate, not quite fitting in, not being enough, not being rich enough, even though your past lifetimes had different things. It's in your bloodline. Laying low so you don't get killed, laying low so you're not noticed, not drawing attention to yourself in any way, making sure your magic is hidden, not expecting too much, and even if you do have it, somebody might take something that might take it from you. You could lose everything. That's another thing that's in your bloodline. So if there's something that if that's in your bloodline, you resonate with that. When you achieve something, you're always looking over your shoulder waiting for the shoe to drop. That's not you, that's your ancestors. Now we want to remind you, this has been healed. It's just a matter of offering this up as you become an amalgam of your ancestors. We want to remind you here that you were born into this lifetime for a reason. You were strong enough and courageous enough and had the lifetimes, plural, experience to be able to do this work and stand in your own energy and present the best of your bloodline, present the best of your ancestry into the world and make a huge difference in this lifetime. Your other ancestors put you forward to be able to do this. So it's a matter of acknowledging that and offering that up, offering yourself and saying, this is what I want to do. Need your help to be able to do this, offering that bridge to move forward and seal in all of that beautiful magic that you've done, all that healing in your bloodline. This is not inherently you. But unless you clear this up, this is something that might come up for you. And you will get that success as you move forward. But what's the point of having that success if you're always looking over your shoulder and wondering, you know, am I going to always be at the top of my game? This is about you coming into your power. This is about you coming into your freedom. And pure freedom is being released completely from this. So this is the last part of the healing of your ancestral bloodline that you can do. Now, take what we've said, make it your own, do whatever you need to do with this. You don't have to do it in this way. You don't have to do this at all. This is a suggestion. But if it resonates with you, figure out how to move forward with that. I'm going to turn this up. Feeling as though I need to turn this up. I'm going on my instincts here. Let's get you a little bit more information as we move forward here with this beautiful reading. All right. What have we got here under sustainer? Oh, we've got temperance absolutely coming in. And then what do we have here? Offering, we have the Prince of Swords coming in. This absolute energy of not just truth, but the edginess that you have, this articulation that you have, all this wisdom that you have from your bloodline coming in. And there's this real fierce sort of recklessness a little bit, but it's controlled recklessness in a way. You have this sort of rider going off into the woods, doing your own thing kind of energy, which is why you chose to come back into this lifetime to be here. This is absolutely your time to shine and thrive in your own way, bringing in all of the energy and all of the wisdom that you have from many different past lives. Now, the past lives that you had that were affluent actually brought you much wisdom and much beauty, and also gave you a taste for the good life too. There's nothing wrong with that. And you will get back to that in this lifetime if you don't have it already. And then you have the King of Pentacles. What did we just say? Getting back to that lifetime. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Owning that, coming back into that success as you move forward, for sure. But you have this sort of rogue aspect to you. But you have this shining, beautiful clarity in the way that you speak and articulate your sense of truth, your sense of beauty. There's a reason why you're here doing this work. And temperance, using that energy of temperance as you move forward to solidify the alchemy, the old and the new. And the old is your bloodline and your past lives coming in to secure into this lifetime and moving you into a brand new beginning. Now, this is going to sound strange for some of you, but again, see where it sits and resonates with you. A lot of you, for a lot of your life in this lifetime, have been playing out old scenarios too. You are coming in, when we say you're coming into a brand new beginning, we mean a brand new beginning, a brand new experience is coming in. And this is a way for you to secure that and move forward. So let's see what else we have moving forward with this reading also. So this is a way for you to really solidify all of the energy and all of the beauty and all the magic from your bloodline. There's a hell of a lot of strength and courage and magic from your bloodline, but it sort of leaks out. I keep seeing a pipeline and it keeps leaking out, which is what the real pipelines do in real life, right? I shouldn't laugh about that. That's terrible. But and that's another thing for another reading. But it keeps leaking out. So your ancestors are wonderful, but they weren't able to contain their strength and be able to utilize it in the way that they wanted in this world. You're going to be able to do that. So you're going to be living the life for them. So it's a matter of coming into that strength and purpose. I keep getting the word purpose here for you. Improvise. And there's that energy with that Prince of Swords just going in. You've got this, some of you are very strategic too, but you've got that impulse. You go on that impulse. You know how to work. You know the timing. You've got this. And that's something that a lot of them didn't have too. They saw that as a luxury, but you absolutely have that. And you've always had that. So you may have confused them, when you were a child too, making mistakes also. That's another thing that you were very hard on yourself for. Give birth, new beginnings. For some of you, who knows, these are general readings. It could be an actual birth coming in. But for some of you, you've been very hard on yourself for making mistakes because you felt as though you were doing this for the bloodline and carrying the bloodline. So you didn't, of course, we learn so much from making mistakes, but you were always very hard on yourself for making them. So you were here to make those mistakes. Those mistakes were very important for you to make, and also building you up and moving you into this new beginning. And this is a brand new beginning for you. We all have new beginnings. Every day is a new beginning. Every breath is a new beginning. As soon as we change our perceptions, we can change our, our inner reality to our outer reality. But this is a brand new beginning for you because a lot of the old is shifting out for good. And most of it has gone already, but there's been echoes of it. And it's not even making peace because you're not at war. This building that bridge and making this offering, and also offering yourself of who you are in this lifetime. I accept myself fully. Yeah, I do have a bit of a rogue aspect to me. Sometimes I go off and do things that are really spontaneous, but they always work out. And you're always working on your gut, and you're always working by your heart chakra, telling you, listening to yourself, let's go in this direction, let's do this. It may not make sense to a lot of people. It may not have made sense to your physical family growing up, but it's always made sense to you. So there's this rogue aspect to you that maybe they don't understand, but it's the thing that's going to make you successful. It's going to be your line that makes you successful in this lifetime. And again, moving you into this new beginning where a lot of the seeds that you have been planting throughout your life, because you've been working on what you want to do in your lifetime here, this will absolutely going to reap the rewards coming in. So just like Pile 1, providing that great foundation for you as you move forward. So let's get you one last beautiful card here. See what we have for you. But this is a very exciting time for you, and it's a way for you to really move forward with your ancestors behind you in a new way, in your bloodline, in your beauty, whatever it is that you have going on moving forward. It's a way for you to make peace with your past too. For some of you, that's coming up, not for all of you. And for some of you, it's a way to claim exactly who you are while taking all the beauty of your bloodline, but also saying, I'm gonna drop this part of it. And the main thing is what's negative and what's leaving is that you know you're worth it. That's what this is all about. You know you're worth it. Something is coming to you. Something is coming. And it wants to come in. It wants to knock at the door. But this needs to be done first. You've got to do this claiming in your own way and saying, I know I'm worthy of it. I know I'm worthy of it. I've worked my entire life for this. I'm here for it. I've clicked into my blueprint. This is what I'm here to do. I'm not arrogant for stepping up to do this. It's another thing that might be coming up in your bloodline. Who do you think you are? No, you're not arrogant. You are an amalgam of every last part of your beautiful ancestral heritage, and this is what is owed for you in this lifetime. So stepping into that power on your own terms. Beautiful. Look at this. Wishes come true. Rapid achievement of your dreams and wishes. Whatever's coming in for you is trying to come in. It is knocking on that door, but you're not ready to open it until you do this. Now, again, we say this on this channel maybe 100 times. Do not go down this rabbit hole. I know it says deep shadow work, this reading, but you don't need to read 1,000 books and do 1,000 courses. You are right on the precipice of doing this. It's just a matter of doing this ritual, claiming it in your own way, or doing whatever you need to do in your own terms to be able to do this. This is not a lot of work. This is not a lot of deep digging to be able to do this. This is just the last piece of the puzzle moving forward for you to be able to be in a position to have that strong foundation. So when that knock comes in again, and it will be, you open that door and all those seeds that you've planted come in with this new birth and that King of Pentacles, and getting you back to that beautiful life of gold and riches and those finer things. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. The finer things in life that we all know, Pile 2. You like it. Some of you say, well, yes, I like to buy good quality things because it's better for the universe, it's better for the world, it's better for the earth, and we don't want to put things in landfill. And yeah, that's absolutely true. 2 thumbs up for that. There are many different ways you say it, and there's many different ways you claim it, but you do like the nicer things in life. That's it. That's absolutely great. So claiming it, coming into it, owning it, and moving forward with this brand new beginning coming in for you, which is a brand new beginning of self. But again, all these things that are coming in, these opportunities, these seeds have been sown from birth. You've been working on this stuff, part of this blueprint. So it's good. Might come out of nowhere, but it shouldn't be a surprise for you. It's just a matter of timing. So that's what we have for you, Pile 2. We are sending you so much love and support for exactly who you are and where you are in the world right now. Go rock your magic. And until we meet again, stay safe and sane. Bye-bye. Okay, gorgeous Pile 3s. Here you are. If you chose the sun emblem, this is yours. And as a reminder, we are doing the deep shadow work reading. Excuse me as I get a little bit closer to you. Deep shadow work reading and what negative trait is leaving your life. So we'll give you some support around that, what negative trait is leaving your life, support about why it happened, and whatever we can give you, whatever information we can give you. Let's get right into your reading. I'm going to start with these. Hope is number 1 and risk is the second one. Absolutely wonderful. All right, so sun shining. So the deep shadow work that's coming in and what's leaving is the need or the wanting. It's not really a needing, but maybe it's a needing. Let's see. The needing to stay small. This is leaving. There are reasons in your life, Pile 3, that you needed to stay small. one way or another, not to draw too much attention to yourself. And though in many ways, a lot of you did under the right circumstances, you are incredible empaths and incredible sensitives, so you can sense when it's safe to be yourself and when it's safe to sort of come out one way or another. And when those situations happen, you can absolutely change a room. You can change the lightness of a room. You can make anybody laugh. You're absolutely incredible. There's an introverted aspect to you and an extroverted aspect to you that can come out, although you do need a lot of alone time to be able to sort of gauge back and sort of regroup and recharge and do things on your own terms. So there's a loner aspect to you. So that's part of it too, of staying a little bit small. Now, there's a part of you that can't stay small. There's a part of you that's never been able to stay small, and it's always sort of pushing out, pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. So the aspect of staying small in this lifetime was never going to happen because the catalyst within you won't let it. But it's always a matter of, you know, when to go big, when not to. So this is coming up for you. This has been a pattern for a lot of you for most of your life, when to be big, when not to be big. And sometimes when you go into situations where, you know, you go into this leadership role and you rock it, you know you can do it, you take that risk, you do it. But sometimes you're led into that situation where you're like, I've got nothing else left, so okay, I'm going to do it. And then when you take on this leadership role, you know that you're absolutely brilliant. But if there's nothing pushing you, don't always do it. However, you're here to do great things. You're here to do big things in this lifetime. You're not here to be small. So it's a matter of not necessarily taking the risk, but leaning into that aspect of self, that catalyst within that wants you to be big. So right now, for a lot of you, you're feeling as though you're on the precipice of something big. Now, for some of you, you're not necessarily feeling that you're on the edge of the cliff. Nothing big is happening. You know, all you have to do is take that one step off and you'll be fine. It's not really that. It's you feel as though there is guidance there. You're not completely out there. You may not have everything quite together, you know how it's going to look like. You may not have all your ducks in a row, but you have a certain amount of faith moving forward that everything's going to be okay. It's not really that. It's just a matter of being big. You don't know exactly how to be big, or if an aspect of you wants to be big, or what that means. And maybe staying smaller. And this is some of it, this could be a little bit subconscious, but it's not subconscious enough that it wouldn't be resonating with you right now. So if you're still with me here on pile 3, then it's not exactly subconscious, but there's an aspect of it that wants to keep you small, but it just wants to keep you safe. There's that catalyst and that beautiful part of you that's in there that will absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, is not interested in any way, shape, or form in staying small, because they know in this lifetime you're not supposed to stay small. And actually, the beauty of being large in this lifetime is that you can give hope to other people. There's something, you're here to actually change people's lives. You're here to actually shift people's lives. You're here to be a guide and a beacon for others. You're here to do that on your own terms, like pile 1 and maybe even pile 2, you're a trailblazer. You'll do that on your own terms. And everybody, this is a, I'm going to say a private reading. This is a general reading. So you all have different gifts and you all have different traits, and you'll do things on your own way because you've always done things your own way. Pile 2. However, you're not here to stay small or to be small in some ways, and you're here to remain, be big and stay big. And again, do those on your own terms. And what that means for you, what level of success, what big means to you, will be exactly what that means to you. But it does mean, and it's not really about taking the risk, because there is that essence of you that knows that you're going to do it. It's just a matter of when. But there is that negative pattern of pulling you back. Just when you feel as though you're on the precipice of something big, it pulls you back and want to keep you small. Let's not draw attention to ourselves, and it's protection. What if this doesn't work out? There's a myriad of different ways, different things that you tell yourself. We don't need to go through every single one of them. It'll be slightly different and, also overlap for many of you. But that's not why we're here. We're not going to focus on that. The creator. Now, it did come up like this, but we're putting it like that. Creator of your own reality. Queen. Look at that. And we have this one too. Kairos? I don't really know. I'm gonna look into this one. I'm gonna feel into this one and see what this one is. Loving that. So for some of you, it's about working your guides' energies too, trusting your guides. It feels as though a lot of you with this card have amazing guidance, amazing guidance. And when you click into that energy and that guidance, you do no wrong. And they're asking for you to rely on them. They're asking you to say, what is my next step? And they will give it to you. But when they give it to you, you've got to be open to receiving it. Some of you are blocking that information, and then you're dumbing yourself down a little bit, but they're still there. They're not giving up. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be there for you throughout all of this. They want to remind you that you are the creator of your own reality without a shadow of a doubt. And also, in some ways, some of the self-fulfilling prophecies, the energy that you've put out before has come back. So there's a part of your logical brain. We talked about this in Pile 1. It was all about the logical brain, the ego brain versus the heart-centered self, right? So for you, with the ego brain, the practical brain, well, it's just the ego brain, right? The logical brain. In the past, there's been some negative stuff that's come up for you. You've had some negative patterns that you've lived through and you've outlived, and you had to really go through these negative patterns to be able to outlive them and see what they do. So when you thought the negative stuff, some of it may have happened. So as you're coming to fruition, as this stuff is moving forward, as you're about to, because there's something, that catalyst is just about to get ignited again, and you're about to go big. Your practical mind is coming, your logical mind, let's say, clarity's sake, your logical mind is saying, right, well, look at what happened before. It may not last. This may happen. This may happen. This may happen. We want to remind you, this is what the logical brain does to keep you small, to keep you safe. There's nothing wrong with that. It's its job to keep you safe. It is not its job. The practical mind's job is not, it's not its job to make sure that you have a beautiful, amazing life, have a joyful life, have a magical life. It's there to keep you safe. It's there to protect you. That's it. That's what it's there to do. So if all this stuff is coming up for you right now, all you need to do is say, thank you, that's in your past. That is in your past. You've outgrown all of that. So there's a myriad of different things that are coming up for each and every one of you that are a little bit foggy on your path, but it's not foggy. All you have to do is blow away the fog and you'll see exactly where you are, coming back to creating your own reality here. Really stepping into this power. Now, the power that you have, that really cannot be tamed. It's absolutely gorgeous and mysterious and fun and frolicky and all of the adjectives out there. But, you know, with this power that you have, when it fuses with this catalyst energy that really cannot be damped down, and sometimes it comes out in other ways. Like for some of you, it's coming up and you're feeling a little nauseated, or you're feeling like you're about to blow. That's that catalyst energy that's coming up that just wants to have a place, and you're dumbing it down, go, no, I don't know. Well, you do know. Your guides are right here. They have that third eye energy you've got going on. You have the most powerful guides, and they have been working with you this entire time. Now, whether you ignore them or not, it doesn't matter, because they're not going anywhere, and they're going to keep sending the energy and the signs that you need. All you need to do is click into that and say, what is my next baby step? From that next baby step, there's a little bit of trust that you're going to have. Now, it's coming up here as risk, but it's not a risk. It's really not a risk. Now, your logical mind might think that it's a risk, and at this time, you know, with everything that's going on, you know, maybe it's not the right time for this. Maybe it's not the right time to risk this. We can tell you definitively this is the only time to do this, as the world is starting anew and everything is falling apart and everything looks completely chaotic. This is the time. This is what you've been waiting for. This is your timing. It's ready to happen. So it's really not a risk. It's coming up as risk, but it's not a risk at all. On your side, all it takes is some faith. You're going to have to get that faith. You're going to have to get that faith from your guides, from that connection to source, which is absolutely impeccable with you, and from that beauty that you have within, knowing that the past is not going to repeat itself. It just cannot. It's run out. It's run its course. So if your logical mind comes in, thank it, and just say there's no proof that's going to happen anymore. And here's the thing about the logical mind. It'll throw so many things at you, but it can't actually give you proof. Yeah, but this happened before. It did happen before, but there's no proof it'll happen again. Can you give me proof that it'll happen again? It can't do it. And once your logical mind realizes, and you work with your logical mind, and your logical mind can't give you actual definitive proof because it can't, it's impossible, you can retire the logical mind and go back to your badass self and go back to that heart center and move forward. So this is all moving out for you. This is a negative pattern that's come up each and every time. Now, there's been many times that you've backed out of kind of being a little bit bigger than you could have been, but we want to be really clear here. You did not miss out on anything that you were supposed to have. All of this is coming in for you. And in fact, you've been gathering momentum. So when it finally takes off, it's going to be really big, right? So you don't have to worry about that. But we also don't want you stuck in this anymore. It's time to say goodbye. And the only real way to do this properly, not just knowing that you are creative, you're in reality, of course you know that, but really stepping into it and stepping into that female, beautiful inner wisdom and claiming yourself. But you're not the risk. You're going to have to take that chance. You're going to have to say, I'm done. Here's my logical mind. I'm going to retire that. This is the time. I'm ready. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have faith. It's going to be fine. And you can do baby steps. One step will lead you to the next step, to lead you to the next step, and so on and so forth. So there's proof in the pudding. You just have to move forward, and that's how the universe and your guides will be able to work with you in such a definitive way that you will never doubt yourself again. But you're gonna have to take that risk. You're gonna have to take that leap of faith. There's no other way to do it. You're just gonna have to do it. And a lot of this cloudiness of, I don't know if this is the right way forward, is coming in because there's doubt around what's going to happen afterwards. So do the baby step, even if you're not clear how that's going to work out or how that's going to fit in. If that idea came to you, just do it. And they're giving you baby steps. They're not trying to take you out of your element here, even though you can go real big. Pile 3, they're actually trying to work with you with baby steps. And within those baby steps, the next step will appear, and the next step will appear. And then all of a sudden, something huge will take off, because you've been working on all of this stuff periodically all the way through your life. So just this, if you're feeling as though you're feeling a little bit lost, you're really not. Just concentrate on that next step. So we have here too, this came up, was it Paul 2 or Paul 1? With Creator, with the 2 of Staves too. Again, making that peace, choosing you over doubt, without a shadow of a doubt here. We have the Sun with the Queen. Come on, I mean, you've got that energy, you've got that energy that's moving forward. Let it be that catalyst for those of you who are feeling a little burnt out, a little exhausted, or feeling like you're gonna blow. This is the reason why all that energy is building up in it. It wants the catalyst is building into something. The outlet is to move forward and take. It's not even a risk. We don't even want you to see it as a risk. Taking the next step, but having the faith. And here, this came up earlier too. This is beautiful. So we have the 8 of Staves coming in here too. So something is coming in for you. Something from the external world, opportunities coming in, letter, something that's moving you on. So all you need to do is meet it halfway by taking that baby step, and then the rest of it's going to fall into place. You're not going to have to do as much work as you think you are to make that, make those big steps. You're really not going to have to do that. All you have to do is take that one baby step, and the universe is going to take care of the rest. The rest of it's going to come into it. There's actually something coming in from the external world into your interior world that's going to change things, but you're going to have to meet it halfway with your energy. Again, taking that leap of faith. So the negative stuff that's moving is this pattern of wanting to stay small. This is leaving for you. It's absolutely leaving for you. Now, it might be coming up for you in a little bit of an intense way, because sometimes before things leave permanently, they come up and they seem a little overwhelming. Don't let them overwhelm them, though. You've done the work. You do, again, don't go down the rabbit hole. You don't need to do 1,000 courses or read 1,000 books. You've done the work. Sometimes it comes up and it's really highlighted and it feels uncomfortable, because it's about to leave and something else is about to come in. And often we have these trials and tests before something comes in that's absolutely brand new and fantastic. And again, obviously this opportunity is coming in for you, so this old stuff is coming up, but this negative pattern is ready to go. You don't need to doubt yourself. You just need to move forward and honor the energy that already exists within you. Now, some of you may have Leo energy. Some of you may have Leo, very prominent Leo placements, like a Leo midheaven in your chart. So you're meant to be out there. You're meant to be big. You're meant to do it on your own terms, and show up the way that you want to by claiming every part of you. Yes, you're a trailblazer. You're not going to appeal to everybody. You might seem a little quirky to some. You might seem really mysterious to others. It doesn't matter how other people take you. It's the way that you are, and you just need to claim it. And there's nothing about the claiming that you're not on board with. You've been doing aspects of that, different parts of your personality, working through different parts of your personality and claiming little pieces of it, putting it all together now to have that faith to move forward. So you've done all of this work. You just got to bring it home, pile 3. Let's see what else we've got for you here. What other information we can bring forth for you. But this is a very exciting time, and obviously these opportunities are coming in. Stuff that you honor the cycles, okay? Stuff that you don't have to do. The energy's already out there. Your guides are already working behind the scenes for you. Give and receive. And what more do we have for you? Be authentic. I think that came up in pile 2. So honor the cycles of everything that you've been through, all the experiences that you've been through. A lot of you, what you do is you try to dumb your energy down when it comes up. Not the right time, not the right time. Let's do this. For some of you, it may not resonate with all of you, but for some of you, you have so much empathic ability and so much emotion. Sometimes you've repressed it and dumbed it down. So honoring your vulnerability, honoring your emotionality. This just came up in, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I do these posts and writing and support on my Instagram. So, the link's down below. If you're not following me already, please do. But this is what we did on IG. We talked about this, honoring vulnerability, honoring exactly where you are, even in the icky parts of it, honoring your emotionality, every part of you, because those parts of you tell you who you are and lead you to your next step. So for some of you, you've been in a cycle of dumbing things down. Sometimes it's not the right time to deal with this. I need to move on. I need to move forward. I don't have the time, which is totally understand. I don't have the time to fall apart. It's not the right time. Honoring the cycles, honoring your experience, honoring every aspect of you. Your emotions and your vulnerability are what make you absolutely gorgeous in this lifetime and really open you up to these experiences moving forward and put you in a leadership position to give and receive every aspect of yourself, to be authentic moving forward and to claim this queen self and to be able to honor fully, completely this catalyst of energy that's constantly within you, that's absolutely raging and ready to be seen. So this is where you are at, and you're all at this time ready to be able to move forward in this absolutely gorgeous way. So, don't be hard on yourself. Give and receive. You can be really hard on yourself when I don't know why this is happening to me. I feel like I'm about to blow, this, that, and the other, hermit style. And you can be really down on yourself. Just accept, oh, I forgot. You even have the sun here. The sun energy, again, with that Leo placement. You may not have prominent Leo placement or be a Leo, but you still have that, beautiful divine masculine energy coming out. And it's that divine masculine energy that wants to be acknowledged, that wants to be seen, that wants to be integrated, and is going to pull you into be the foundational energy for what you want and need as you move forward. But that leap of faith needs to be taken, and you are absolutely ready to do this. Just to reiterate, when the logical mind comes in, it cannot give you proof. So honor your cycles, honor your emotions, honor where, even if you're not feeling that great, honor exactly where you are. Allow your emotions to come out. It's totally fine. We don't have to put a plaster on everything and pretend everything's okay. This too shall pass, but honor the catalyst energy. Say to your beautiful logical mind, you know what, you can't prove it, that's in the past. I can't listen to you right now. I've got things to do. Listen to that catalyst energy, work with that catalyst energy as it moves you forward and goes into the sense of peace, as you know everything's going to be fine. With your guides working here and your third eye coming in, you have not gone wrong before in the past when you've listened to when you've worked with your third eye, you've listened to your intuition, you've worked with your guides. You've landed on your feet in really particular circumstances when most people wouldn't have. You've risen from the phoenix, like the phoenix from the ashes. Being the phoenix from the ashes, you will do it again. You're all about fire energy. You've absolutely got this. So this is moving out, this cycle of holding yourself back, but it requires faith. Once you actually move forward, this time, baby steps, something you will be rewarded in the physical world. Once you're rewarded in the physical world, you'll never go back to playing small. You'll never go back. Again, please don't come up with this understanding that you have to have all your ducks in a row to move forward. Not necessary. It's not even possible at this point because some of it's clouded. It's being made for you. It's being done for you. The universe and your guides are asking you to move forward in faith. They don't want to reveal absolutely everything for you because you could not even possibly imagine what's out there for you. So it's okay that you don't see it, you know, but you will be rewarded, and then you'll be clicked into that path and there will be no going back. So let's get you one more Making Magic card to solidify this reading, but you've got this. Pile 3, without a shadow of a doubt, you've absolutely got this, and we adore you for doing all of this work, for sure, and having this beautiful energy. You beautiful alchemist, you. Let's see what we have for you. This one's calling your name. Time to shine. Come on. You can't make this shit up. Time to shine creates the energetic resonance for golden opportunities. It is your time to shine, Pile 3, without a shadow of a doubt. It's been your time to shine before, but this is your real time to shine. You'll always be shining after this. You're ready to do this again. This is not going down the rabbit hole of everything you need to do. This is just stuff coming up for you to release, not dumb down anymore. You're not going to get through it by dumbing down your emotions and dumbing down your vulnerability. You're going to get through this by embracing everything, working with your logical mind, working with your cycle, acknowledging your queen self, and melding that energy with that beautiful catalyst energy that's coming up and that just wants to be revered and has every right to be. And watch out for those opportunities coming in. So that's what we have for you, Pile 3. We are sending so much love and so much support for exactly who you are and where you are in the world right now. You go rock the world with your magic. Time to shine. And until we meet again, you stay safe and sane. Take care. Bye-bye.